Kevin Federline is back in the spotlight as the date of his memoir, You Thought You Knew, reaches its release date on October 21st of this year. He is currently receiving a lot of very necessary backlash for his new book, as interestingly enough, he never chose to write one when he was still getting child support from Britney, a whopping $40,000 a month. He did not need to write the book back then because he didn't have to do anything because Britney funded his entire life. This is something that we're going to come back to, okay? Because we're going to be talking about how he speaks on Britney talking to Justin Timberlake on the phone the night before they got married. Any person, if they were a part of a situation like this, would probably seriously reconsider getting married, but the fact that he went on to marry her anyway, and then he gets $40,000 a month from her because they had children together, the whole thing's disturbing. Nonetheless, it's important to remember that these checks stopped coming November of 2024 when their last son turned 18. So now this book is coming out. And then when he was asked about it, he said that he was only putting this book out for his kids and family, and that money had nothing to do with it. Okay, Kevin, let us read it for free then, but moving on.
There's an assumption that you are doing this because the child support ended with Britney.
Really? That you want to go there right away? I'd be lying if I said that I didn't want this book to be successful. Should I sell 1 million books or more or whatever? Money's not at the root of this story. It never has been. So for me, I'm doing this now. I wanted to make sure that my children were old enough to understand what I'm doing. Everything has always been about my family. That's what people don't really realize, is that every step that I've taken has been for the benefit of my children. And my children are ready for me to tell my story, because it's not just my story, right? This affects everybody in my family.
Some videos are floating around my social media page as the date of his book release nears, and some of them have been quite fascinating to say the least. Some of the tea that he spills is that he claims that the night before him and Britney got married that she called Justin Timberlake on the phone. Now, this was her ex of 3 years that many of us millennials are still having a hard time getting over that whole debacle. The breakup was devastating. Nonetheless, Kevin claims that he walked in on her the night before they got married and she was on the phone and she admitted that she was speaking to Justin Timberlake. So he proceeds to claim that he told her if she wanted to call off the wedding that they could, and stated that Britney expressed her love for him and that she still wanted to get married, and that she simply called Justin Timberlake to make sure that things were really done.
The night before our wedding, we're at the Fairmont in Santa Monica in one of the bungalows, and I was like, what's wrong? I thought she was talking to her mom on the phone or something, and maybe she was like doubts, and she told me that she was on the phone with Justin, and I just kind of stepped back like, did I just hear you right? What the hell? Okay, we don't have to do this. Like, I didn't care if we got married or not. And she told me no, really was like, I just wanted to make sure that everything is done. I want to make sure that I say my final piece. And I'm like, damn, you know, on the night before our wedding. So I kind of at the time took it with a grain of salt, took her explanation as, okay, maybe she is closing a chapter of her life.
I think she was still in love with him.
In love, I am not sure, but not over it. There was so much turmoil, so much different. You know, I couldn't imagine what it is like to be her. I couldn't feel what it was like to be Justin.
We got to talk about that, okay? This shows that she was not over him, which is what has been speculated for many years. Their relationship was something that obviously affected her greatly. As we all know from Britney's memoir, she dropped the bombshell that she got pregnant by Justin back when they were dating, which at the time they were teenagers. I believe when they started dating, she would have been around 17 years old. And she wanted the baby. She wanted to keep the baby so bad, but Justin didn't want to be a dad, and he was adamant on the fact that they were too young to be parents. So she ultimately felt pressured into having an abortion that she did not want. This is something that commonly happens when someone is afraid that keeping the baby will make the person they love leave them, and it's a very heartbreaking and difficult decision that a lot of young women have to face. And it's especially heartbreaking that she had to go through this alone and didn't talk about it for many, many years. So her calling Justin before marrying Kevin showed that she had doubts about the marriage and still was not over Justin Timberlake, because what would have happened if it wasn't done? Like, what would have happened if she called Justin and the conversation led her to realizing that they're not done? Like, would they have ended up getting back together and working on things, and where would her life be like right now? It's just What would have happened if that phone call went differently? I mean, it's really sad looking back because that relationship downfall and what happened to her clearly messed her up really bad. Justin publicly talked about them having sex and she was made a spectacle of. I mean, imagine that you abort your baby for a man and then he goes on to talk about you when you aren't there to consent to that information being made public to people all around the world. Like, at that time, she couldn't exist out in public without hordes of people hounding her and paparazzi.
Britney, how are you, sweetie?
Please stop it. Leave me alone.
We will.
So, of course, when she got with Kevin, things just got even worse, and it's so sad. When you go back and you watch these old interviews with her and shows that she was on, she was clearly struggling and clearly controlled. She actually spoke out about it long before the Free Britney movement, and no one was really listening. In fact, she even says that no one is listening.
If I wasn't under the restraints that I'm under right now, you know, with all the lawyers and doctors and people analyzing me every day and all that kind of stuff, like if that wasn't there, I'd feel so liberated and feel like myself. I'm kind of stuck in this place and it's like, how do you deal, you know? And you just cope. And that's what I do. I just cope with it every day.
I'm angry. I'm very angry.
I think it's funny that y'all are laughing. Just like you can't really go there in a complete state of happiness because you're scared that it's going to be taken away. So it's better just not to feel anything at all, to have hope, than to feel the other way. And when you tell people that, and when I tell them the way I feel, it's like they hear me, but they really not listening. They're hearing what they want to hear. They're not really listening to what I'm telling them. It's bad. I'm sad.
Right? You're probably just so used to getting your way that it's weirding you out that you don't right now.
Huh?
Wow. What are you gonna say to that?
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Even when you go to jail, there's always the time that you know that you're gonna get out, you know.
But I don't always get my way. I never get my way. Ever. It's weird, like with certain things I get my way easy, and then things that you would think I'd get my way, I don't. Like simple things that I should be able to that should come naturally, I don't get it.
Do you feel out of control in your life?
No, I don't feel like it's out of control. I think it's too in control. There's no excitement. There's no passion. There's no, it's just like Groundhog Day every day.
So another bit of information that Kevin dropped in his book that is going around online right now is that he said that his sons would wake up to Britney in the doorway with a knife when they were sleeping. This is unbelievably messed up and horrific and traumatizing if that happened, and I truly do feel for her sons on so many levels that they experienced that with their mom, if that is truly what happened. That is so scary and it is so traumatizing. I mean, there are so many videos circulating around right now of what Britney is doing on her social media, and it's devastating to see her fall apart in the manner that she has. There is one recent video where she's covered in bruises and wraps, and she claims she fell down the stairs, and her fans are just saying they hope that's really what happened because the bruising is bad.
It's October 13th. Are you ready for the weekly update of Britney Spears? Well, this screenshot of this video has been posted and reposted more times than I can keep up with. Yes, there were bruises all over her arms and her knee is bandaged up. Excuse on Instagram was that she fell down a flight of stairs at her friend's house, but I'm just not buying that. And I guess we'll go through some of the things. If you blinked, you might have missed it, because Britney Spears' Instagram is notorious for posting really quick videos and then deleting them. So in one of the same videos, she posted a caption that says, "I miss you."
People are also filming her meltdowns on airplanes, and it's like, where is the privacy? She's treated like she's an animal in a cage at a zoo, much like other celebrities are treated as well, and it's just always been so disturbing to me. Now, when she spoke out about what she was put through, she stated that she was given lithium that she didn't want to be on.
A therapist sat me down in a room and said he had a million phone calls about how I was not cooperating in rehearsals and I haven't been taking my medication. All of this was false. He immediately the next day put me on lithium out of nowhere. He took me off my normal meds I'd been on for 5 years, and lithium is a very, very strong and completely different medication compared to what I was used to. You can go mentally impaired if you take too much, if you stay on it longer than 5 months. But he put me on that and I felt drunk. I really couldn't even take up for myself. I couldn't even have a conversation with my mom or dad really about anything. I told them I was scared, and my doctor had me on 6 different nurses with this new medication come to my home, stay with me, to monitor me on this new medication, which I never wanted to be on to begin with.
And then I come across these videos on TikTok about what happens if you take too much lithium and how it essentially melts your brain and then you are never the same after.
Anybody that's on lithium, have you ever seen anybody that's been on lithium for a long time and what it does to their brain? There's a lot of conspiracies on the internet regarding Britney Spears. It's probably the most famous example of somebody that was forced put on lithium for years. People think that she's dead. People have put up all of these theories on TikTok. This is not the same Britney Spears. Look at her teeth, her spacing, her face has changed, her forehead looks different. You can find so many conspiracies of people that actually believe that the government has killed Britney Spears and that they've hired some other woman to act like her on her Instagram. This is what people believe. I know what I believe. I believe that Britney Spears is showing you what happens when you are put on lithium for a long time. People are just so stunned. They can't even fathom what has happened to her, and it's that simple. This is what happens to your brain when you are put on lithium. There is no pathway back, and that breaks my heart to say that, by the way. I'm not saying that to mock Britney Spears whatsoever. I think it is absolutely horrific that she was put on something as powerful as lithium for as long as she was put on lithium against her will. It is a crime that happened to her.
The conspiracy theories that go around right now about her not being herself anymore, like people genuinely believe that Britney is dead and this is a stand-in person. I don't believe that because, well, one, I just want to say those videos and people talking about that is so harmful to her mental health. Like, she's clearly going through her own stuff, and then when you throw that in the mix, it's messed up to me, okay? But people aren't just saying that they don't think she's herself. They think that the real Britney is dead and this is a replacement. Now, to the people that think that this is a replacement and someone else entirely, if they were going to replace Britney Spears with a stand-in lookalike to profit off of, do you think that they would be posting these bizarre dance videos with bad quality cameras on Instagram? They would be milking her for everything. They wouldn't have picked this person that she is today to replace her. She's still a human being. And I mean, if you have ever been around someone struggling with their mental health, you will see the same changes on their face. People's entire faces can and do change because of what they're going through, because of their mental health. I believe this is Britney. It's just not the same one we once loved. It's still Britney, but Britney who has gone through a lot of trauma. As someone who was a 90s baby and a massive fan of Britney, I mean, my sister and I practically idolized her like many young girls back then. I genuinely get teary-eyed when I see her pop up on my feed because no one protected her, no one helped her, and all she wanted was to be left alone and to be free to make her own decisions. If her mental health was so bad, we should all be looking at pointing the finger at the people that continued to put her up on that stage and make her perform when she didn't want to. Kevin Federline is awful for profiting off of whatever he speaks on about her in this book. It's not his story to tell. If their kids want to talk about their experiences that they went through with their mom one day, whatever. But why does it got to be through Kevin? I am sure it's hard to be in the position that her kids are in, where maybe now they are the ones that don't feel heard. Britney has a massive amount of fans behind her who really just want to see her doing well, and anybody who speaks anything negatively about her, they don't even listen. So maybe they don't feel like they're heard now, but at the end of the day, Britney's story is sad. She was surrounded by a bunch of users and still to this day is getting used by them. Britney put out a statement as I'm filming this video on her social media about this, and I'm gonna go ahead and read that to you. The constant gaslighting from ex-husband is extremely hurtful and exhausting. I have always pleaded and screamed to have a life with my boys. Relationships with teenage boys is complex. I have felt demoralized by this situation and have always asked and almost begged for them to be a part of my life. Sadly, they've always witnessed the lack of respect shown by my own father for me. They need to take responsibility for themselves. With one son only seeing me for 45 minutes in the past 5 years, and the other with only 4 visits in the past 5 years, I have pride too. From now on, I will let them know when I am available. Trust me, those white lies in that book, they are going to straight to the bank, and I am the only one who genuinely gets hurt here. I will always love them, and if you really know me, you won't pay attention to the tabloids of my mental health and drinking. I am actually a pretty intelligent woman who has been trying to live a sacred and private life for the past 5 years. I speak on this because I have had enough, and any real woman would do the same. Britney Spears' ex, Sam Asghari, was seen walking out of a bar or club in California and was interviewed about what he thinks about Kevin putting out a book about Britney, and this is what he had to say about it.
Hey, what's up, Sam? How are you?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing good. I wanted to ask you, Kevin Federline just announced he's going to be releasing a new tell-all book. I wanted to know if you had any thoughts on that.
No, I mean, what is he going to tell
about? He's going
about?
to be talking about his life, he's going to be detailing his marriage with Britney.
Well, he was a professional father, so he would be a great, it would be the first book that'll tell you how to be a professional father. It was a great day. Thank you.
Can I ask, I see you've been on set, how have things been going? What are you working on?
Something very special.
Very special?
Yeah.
Things are good with you and Brooke?
Amazing.
Love it. Thank you.
The only thing I'll say about that, at least at this point in time, he's not also posting things and profiting off of her like her ex-husband is. I think that Kevin trying to claim that he's not doing this for money is just a sad attempt to get people to believe anything that he's gonna say. You all are gonna have to let me know what you think about this in the comments down below, and I will see you soon for another video.